I am retired. So I am Kevin Taggarty, retired 3 Chief, United States Air Force. I'm her brother-in-law, and I'll be narrating today's ceremony. And I need your grace. And if you know something that I missed or something's wrong, just let me know. We'll make sure to cover everything because we're going to try to go live. Are we going Facebook Live?
It didn't work.
Huh?
Didn't work. So it's recorded.
Okay. I'm going to call out a bunch of names. If you can please hold your applause. I'm going to get through the entire list and then we can clap for everybody. But first of all, we have Nikki's lovely family here, and we got Evan, Tyler, Trey, McKenna, along with their husband, retired law enforcement, Chief Warrant Officer Bobby Alman. Also in attendance are Nikki's sister Tracy, Leanne, and Nikki's brother-in-law Mike, and Darlene, also a second mother, longtime family friend. So with that. Now we have the military family. We have Colonel Maxwell Smart, who will be the presiding officer over today's ceremony, retired Colonel Army Ranger Rock and his wife Anita Schmidt, Colonel Michael Blackburn, Senior Master Sergeant retired Jessica Larson, Senior Master Sergeant retired Jason Aesop Yunser, Senior Master Sergeant retired Amanda Staggers and her husband Jason Staggers, Senior Master Sergeant retired Charles Z. Zaldivar, and Master Sergeant Katrina Ware. We have Joshua Bird and his wife Jackie. In addition, we would also like to thank the Warrior Path family and sisters for supporting her today. She also would like to give a special shout out to all her friends and co-workers, friends, family, anybody I didn't miss. I guarantee, I might call her Nikki today, so I apologize for that. She's glad you're here. This will probably be like no retirement ceremony you've seen before, but she wanted something a little more relaxed, and we're gonna do just that. So I got the script 5 minutes ago.
That's plenty of time.
That's plenty of time. But it's like a funeral. Nobody wants to go to a funeral that's not a lot of fun, so we're gonna go to a retirement.
Die for.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party right here. And the singing of the national anthem, and then followed, we're going to have Nikki's husband, Bobby, come up and say words. National anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So in keeping with the theme that we're going to keep this as a retirement ceremony you've probably never seen before. I am deeply honored to be standing in front of you and humbled that she requested that I read a poem or a prayer that she finds speaks to a lot of people in here. So if you bear with me 1 second here, I got to pull it up. Yes.
Don't let him be overprepared.
I had it all done last night, and then I hit the wrong button, and it all went away, and of course,
One job.
one job, that's it all off.
Could have printed it.
I did try to print it, that's the problem, and it didn't print. One job, that's all I had,
Did
right?
this at our wedding?
I did do this at our wedding, as a matter of fact. It's the exact same thing.
You prayed?
You know who else was there? I did kind of pray, but of course, yeah, right? I was trying to put all the stuff together at the last minute, and of course it went away now. I'm sorry. That's what happens when you put it in the spot that you wanted to put it in, so you wouldn't forget where it's at.
Yeah.
So this prayer is called Warrior Women of War. It's a shield maiden prayer that Nikki picked out. So again, I'm honored to share it with you. And it reads, "The wrath of the gods is nothing compared to mine. I can love and I can fight. And in both you'll fear the maiden's might. Shields combine to build our wall. We roar like Thor as enemies fall. Men are strong, but so are we. With axe to waste, just watch them flee. My grudges will not die with me. I'll end you soon as well."
Colonel Smart, he is our presiding officer.
Still the podium out of comfort.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with you.
So, Nikki, yes.
He's very upset I made more service jokes, so his goal is to make me cry.
So I'm gonna go for it here. We're gonna show me some chairs. Not through push-ups, but through emotions. No, but I just wanted to welcome everybody, friends and family, Bobby, Evan, Tyler, Trey, McKenna. Thank you all for being here. You're kidding me. Seeing people are crying now, it's kidding me. No, Nikki's a special person, okay? And the theme of this is gonna be that you are the best, okay? And I'll get to that once I get through some of this. But the non-commissioned officer, okay? A lot of people, they have service members, they have family, you know, serving in the military, and they're like, hey, yeah, they're a sergeant in the Army, they're a sergeant in the Marine Corps, they're an NCO in the Air Force. They don't really know what that means. What is the non-commissioned officer? Okay, it's the backbone of every service. It's the lifeblood of every service. Okay, they are the service. The officer provides the big picture, tells them what they need to do, but catch the words, what they need to do, because they get it done. Okay, they know how to get it done. They're the technical experts, and they are the motivator, the teachers that bring up the airman, soldier, sailor, marine, guardians now, as we welcome the new branch of the Space Force. But the NCOs get it done, okay? They keep the institutions alive. And for an officer, I can't explain to you how much we rely on them. When we first come in, we rely on them to teach us how to be officers. When we're senior officers, we rely on them to get the job done that the commanders need done. Now that can be in an office environment, that can be in peacetime, but it can also be in wartime. Nikki came in March of 2001. What happened then? Well, as of September 2001, we were a nation at war until last year for the better part of 20 years, okay? You're gonna hear and you can see outside on the table all of the awards and decorations. I'm gonna, for her family, just kind of go through briefly. I know they all felt it and experienced it, where she was stationed, some of the jobs and the roles. I won't spend too much time on that, but I do want to get into the parts where she was deployed, because I saw you at your very best. So, non-commissioned officer, okay, senior master sergeant. Gotcha, didn't I? We're not done. I'm in service dress and you're gonna suffer. Okay, so, but non-commissioned officer, senior master sergeant in the Air Force, okay? For other service members, you may have heard, climbing the ranks in the NCO Corps in the Air Force is very difficult. The Air Force is very technical, and in the paralegal career field, you have to be highly intelligent, you have to be highly motivated, and you are constantly being scrutinized for results. There is never any let up. There is never any peace. It is a grind, okay? Nikki Allman rose to the rank of senior master sergeant. There are only 2.5% of the enlisted corps by law can be a senior master sergeant in the Air Force. Okay, if that doesn't tell you about the type of person that's getting ready to retire today, that we're getting ready to lose, okay, and it is a loss, I don't know what will. But she joined in March 2001, originally as an air traffic controller, transferred over to the paralegal, started out at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana from 2001 to 2009, also affectionately known as Barcatraz, because if you get stationed there, you can't get out. They really don't let you leave. Her next assignment was Eielson Air Force Base in Alaska, and if you don't know where that is, it's right on the tip, way up north toward the Aleutians, where she was a defense paralegal. Again, a highly specialized job, a difficult job, where people, their lives are really relying on you, who are facing court-martial and all kinds of adverse action from the military. That job and that defense attorney that the defense paralegal supports, that is a massive responsibility, okay, that people are depending on you. And for her to be selected for that and also to excel in that, again, speaks to her character as an NCO. While she was at Eielson, she deployed for the Joint Special Operations Task Force in the Philippines. If you hadn't heard of that deployment, that was one of the ones where they were the Special Operations Task Force were going after Al-Qaeda affiliates across the world. Okay, so that was a real hairy one that you went on. And I know we've talked about some of the things you experienced there. Again, not everybody gets chosen to do that kind of duty. Her next assignment, Luke Air Force Base, while she was there, she won NCO of the Year. She was there from 2015 to 2018. And she deployed to Afghanistan. We'll save that for the end, because I got to get some more tears out of you. From 2015, 2016, and also to Kuwait. And I also know that while I was stationed at Barksdale, can't get out, I was noticing that you were getting sent to all different bases across the country, okay? She was so good at her job that numbered Air Force staff Javakids, MAJCOM, or Major Command staff Javakids, hand-selected her to go and clean things up. She would put out the dumpster fire. She would go around, teach people what they needed to do and fix problems, okay? That's the type of NCO that Nikki is. Also at Shoal Air Force Base from 2018 to now with her retirement, she initially came here for the 9th Air Force Task Force stand-up, where she went to various places like Iceland, also supporting Hurricane Michael relief in Panama City when Tyndall was hit by that hurricane, and also where she currently is at now with 15th Air Force, and also absent. Okay, so that's the career, okay? That's where you can read her enlisted performance reports and see what did she do, okay? Everybody has a career that retires from the military, and that's good, okay? That's great. She's a military justice expert. But I'm gonna tell you something that I saw in Afghanistan. And unfortunately, while we were there, we had a couple of bad events. C-130 crash at Jalalabad that killed 11 airmen and contractors. We were responsible for the wreckage. We were responsible for the investigations that happened in terms of helping with that. We kept some of the grisly, I want you to know what she's done. We kept some of that grisly evidence with us, okay? Personal effects, horrible things like that. Air Force OSI Task Force Crimson members went out on patrol a couple of days before Christmas, killed by a suicide bomber. Again, we had to manage those post-actions with that and people that we knew who were killed, and dealing with the grisly evidence of that. Nikki never faltered. It didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter the danger of the rocket attacks. It didn't matter the personal danger. When we're in a helicopter flying over ISIS territory in Afghanistan, didn't matter. She was always there, never hesitated. There were others that hesitated. There were others that didn't measure up when it came time to do your duty in the most extreme danger possible. But you were there. You never faltered, you never hesitated. Oh, and by the way, the results were excellent. She was so good that our general officer, reached down to her, not because she was a paralegal, but because she was the best NCO in the command. If he needed anything done, he went straight to her. I had his executive officer come in and say, hey, why is this NCO going in the general? Because your general asked her to come up and see him. Okay? That's how good she was. Okay? That's how good she is. We as an Air Force are going to be losing that. But I want you to know you are the best NCO, and I mean this, I've ever met and I've ever had the honor of serving. It meant a lot to me for you to ask me to speak today. For some of the kids out in the audience, in ancient times when I was growing up in the 80s, there was a singer who's still going, Tina Turner, right? Remember Simply the Best? Simply the Best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I ever met. I don't think she was talking about NCOs, but I think those lyrics do apply to you. So, thank you.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Colonel Smart. And I think we're gonna go into the. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal, Senior Master Sergeant Nikki Allman. This is to certify that the President of the United States, America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the MSM, or Meritorious Service Medal, 2nd Oak Leaf Clover, to Senior Master Sergeant Nikki Allman for meritorious service from 1 September 2018 to 1 July 2022. Senior Master Sergeant Nikki E. Allman, distinguish yourself in performance of outstanding service to the United States as Chief of Inspections, Senior Enlisted Leader. Sergeant Allman guided Air Combat Command's busiest numbered Air Force merger with 12th Air Force, which resulted in the new 15th Air Force and enabled the office to gain 2 new manning authorizations. After the merger, she managed the largest court docket in the Air Force with responsibility for $3 million budget, 1,100 investigations, and 702 non-judicial punishment, and 71 courts over a 2-year period. A workload larger than 5 major commands. She also was instrumental in standing up the first Air Force-led Joint Task Force capable headquarters, which enabled command and control capabilities for Task Force South-East, resulting in 1.1 million Americans being vaccinated during COVID-19 crisis. Sergeant Allman's efforts revolutionized the NAF's inspection and training process, which enhanced the readiness of 8 wings and ultimately led to 18 MAGCOM awards for the staff and wings to include 2 Air Force Legal Office and Year Awards. Lastly, her work on internal inspection programs resulted in a headquarters Air Force inspection team's glowing assessment of the office, praising her inspection program as a model program that was devoted to the success of the subordinate legal offices. These singularly distinctive accomplishments of Senior Master Sergeant Allman culminate a distinguished career in the service of her country and reflect great credit upon herself and the United States Air Force. And at this time, Colonel Smart will now retire Senior Master Sergeant Nikki Allman. And then, attention orders, the Department of the Air Force. By order of the Secretary of the Air Force, Senior Master Sergeant Nikki Allman is relieved from her active duty responsibilities effective 14 September 2022. Signed, Charles Q. Brown, Jr., United States Air Force Chief of Staff. It's my first time, too. This certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America, it's to show to all who shall see these presents greetings. This is to certify that Senior Master Sergeant Nikki Allman, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Air Force on 14 September 2022. We now have 2 certificates of appreciation that we'd like to present. We have this. I'll read them out for you. For service in the Armed Forces of the United States, Senior Master Sergeant Allman, I extend to you my personal thanks and sincere appreciation of a grateful nation for your contribution of honorable service to this country. You have helped maintain the security of our nation during a critical time in its history. You have maintained devotion to duty and a spirit of sacrifice in keeping with the proud traditions of military service. Your commitment and dedication have been an inspiration for us all of us who follow in your footsteps, and for all Americans who join us in saluting you for a job extremely well done. My best wishes to you, happiness and success in the future. Joe Biden, Commander-in-Chief. And I have a certificate I need to read. This is it, okay? Certificate of appreciation, and this is from the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. I'm proud to join your friends and family in congratulating you on a retirement from the United States Air Force. Senior Master Sergeant Nikki E. Allman, the achievements and contributions you have made throughout your career are indicative of core values of our great service. Your retirement is well deserved, but your selfless contributions will be sorely missed. On behalf of the airmen, we thank you for your faithful and devoted service to our nation. As this chapter in your life closes and a new one begins, I hope the years ahead are filled with more great memories and continued success. Signed, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. At this time, Evan and Tyler, please come to the stage. Now, every retiree receives one of these little pins, and at this time, Evan and Tyler, to symbolize the transition from active to retired service, will now pin the lapel on her uniform. Yes, you can sit. Thank you. And then I'd also like Trey McKenna, if you could please join us up on stage. And Nikki, the floor is yours.
So these are certificates of appreciation for the kiddos. Trey. Aww. Kemba. Princess McKenna and Nikki. Been with her the longest.
It's been 9 months with you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
What says you can sit? Okay, that's it. Okay. So at this time, Nikki will be presented a shadow box from the men and women of the 15th Air Force.
So before we do that, I will present her with a coin from the Chief Master Sergeant of 15th Air Force, who would like to have been here. Unfortunately, she got COVID. And so I did make sure that I wiped this down with Lysol a couple times for a couple days. But Nikki, she wishes she could be here. Chief Lee wanted to thank you for being one of the senior NCOs within 15th Air Force, for your leadership. I think that we all know that you were a great leader. You have demonstrated leadership so much so that I went ahead and said retire once I found out she was retiring. Now that I know that all these senior master sergeants are retired, it's probably a good thing that I did. But from the Chief, thank you for your service. Now I think we're going to have 2 people carry this. So Nikki, from all of us in 15th Air Force, 9th Air Force, and 9th Air Force absent, for your career, please accept this shadow box as a commemorative of that, and thank you for everything you've done for us. I know we described it in some detail in your declaration, but you have been a great inspiration to us and helped us get through a very transitional time at 15th Air Force, so thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Tech Sergeant Alcron and Sergeant Ferrerier will perform a flag folding. Did I say it? Ferrerier. She said the same. Folding ceremony to describe, or as described by the Uniformed Services. This is a dramatic and uplifting way to honor our Senior Master Sergeant Allman for her 22 years of service and the contributions to the United States Air Force. Flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was originally founded. A portion of the flag denoting honor is the canton of blue. Canton of blue contains the stars representing the states veterans who served in uniform in Canton Field of Blue, dresses from left to right, and is inverted when draped as a pall on a casket of a veteran who has served their country in uniform. In the armed forces, United States, at the ceremony of a retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle, and kept under the watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out. The ceremony of reveille is done. Run aloft as a symbol of our belief in resurrection of the body. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks who gave a portion of their life for the defense of our nation to attain peace throughout the world. Fourth fold represents our weaker nature, for as American citizens trusting in God, it is to Him we turn to in peace, as well as in times of war, for His divine guidance. Fifth fold, tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country in dealing with our other countries may she always be right, but it's still our country, right or wrong. Sixfold is for where our hearts lie. It's with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for which it is through the armed forces that we protect our country, our flag against all of her enemies, whether they be found within or without of the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day, and to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, their love, their loyalty and devotion, and their character of the men and women who have made this country great in what was molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for He too has given His sons and His daughters for the defense of this nation since they were first born. The 11th fold, in the eyes of a Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of the King David and Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represent an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under the General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their commanders and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we enjoy today. Senior Master Sergeant Allman, will you now present the flag? Sergeant Allman will now present the flag to her sister. This is right here, Tracy Taggart. All right, at this time, I think I get a few words regarding my sister-in-law's career and performance throughout since the time that I've known her. And I speak for the family, I hope you know. I am a retired Air Force crew chief. I worked heavies for 23 years and 28 days, and you'll learn to say that in the retirees. If you're retired, you get it, you know. But I might call her Nikki, but Senior Master Sergeant Allman, first of all, we thank you and your family for your service. 22 years is not served alone. It's an entire team, if you will. So we're very proud of you and the entire family. Thank you very much for supporting that venture. Nikki was working in a carpet mill in Dalton, Georgia. And I was at Fairchild Air Force, or mine, no, I was at Fairchild at the time. And we're talking, and she's like, I don't know what my sister's gonna do, but she's stuck in Dalton, Georgia in a carpet mill. And Tracy always said, she's the smart one. She, good brain on the shoulders, good head on the shoulders. So, went down a couple family times, we talked, said, hey, what's the future? What do you want to do? Is carpet mill the place to go? Or do you have other horizons to look at? So, knowing that she was a smart cookie, and Tracy, her sister, is also Air Force at the time. Well, from here, yeah. She said, hey, we got to kind of steer her in this direction. So I told Nikki the story. We're at a family gathering, and I told her the story about the multiple services and your options. I said, if you tell the Army to secure a building, I see a Ranger in the house. If you tell the Army to secure a building, they'll surround it with tanks and call in close air support, put an end to it. If you call the Marines to secure a building, they will kick down the doors, Marines. So they're nodding their head. Tell the Marines to secure a building, they'll kick down the doors and shoot everything in sight. You tell the Navy to secure a building, Navy. I know we got at least. And you will understand this if you've done any time on a Navy base. They will lock the door and turn out the lights. Secured stall. Secured stall means something. So, lastly, if you tell the Air Force to secure a building, they will take out a 3-year lease with an option to buy and possibly room service. And once you're kind of in the club and you see it, you know who you want in service and you know who you hope you never see in the service. So it's kind of like with any job, but it was with the handshake. We were, all right, we got a smart cookie and let's get her in. And she joined and she wound up getting picked up air traffic control. I don't know if anyone's done that or even tried to listen to what pilots have to talk to with this tower and controlling things. I'm a crew chief, they call me a booger hooker, knuckle dragger, whatever. I can't even imagine like multifaceted, all these walking and chewing gum type. She got accepted, she did everything. One small technicality, mentally she was there. There are a bunch of medical requirements and it didn't allow her to pursue that ATC career. So they lost somebody, but the legal career field gained somebody. And I think Colonel Smart said that earlier. You guys gained an asset. Their loss, your gain. From deployed to the PI, a lot of people, as Colonel said, we have a war zone in southern Philippines that people don't even know about. It's Enduring Freedom South. She was there, she was riding with Navy boats and all kinds of crazy stuff, like dealing with animals, and you had to repay for, you would not believe when you're rebuilding a country the things that you get into. From Afghanistan and mortar attacks. Right here on our home front, hurricanes taking care of America. The hurricane coast was battered so hard. How do you rebuild? Get back on your feet. I am so impressed. Job well done. I'll leave it at that. You made everyone happy. You're the top. If you didn't make Thanksgiving, we talked about what you did. For that, on the behalf of the family, we thank you. As a retiree, though, we do invite you to plug up the aisles of the commissary. We want to see you sitting like 5 rows deep in our chairs at the pharmacy, active duty or waiting for their prescription. Never tell people how old you are. Just tell them you're military retired. Let them figure it out. You fought for your freedom. Now it's time you enjoy yours. Reach in, reach out, reach up. Next up, I'm going to invite Jessica and Jason and Charles and Amanda to step forward, say a few words, and also.
Someone get a picture of the other guy.
I know. Can we get a picture before we cry? Okay. So we're like all besties since forever. First, I just want to say thank you for sharing your mom with us. She's been like our ride or die since forever, and she's always talked about you guys and loved on you guys. But she's been like our sister for so long, and we're like, she has been there for everyone, always. You need something? Nikki's there. She doesn't care what it is. We're like, Nikki, we need you to get a body. Okay, I'll get the bags. I get the duct tape. She's like, Nikki is that person. And Colonel Smart was right. Like, you are the bravest, strongest person I have ever met. We have ever met. We are so proud of you that you are taking the time to finally take care of you. It is about freaking time. You are taking care of you because you have taken care of everyone else for so long. The JAG Corps, screw the JAG Corps. You have taken care of the JAG Corps for so long. It is about time you've taken care of yourself. And I'm so proud of you. We are so proud of you. And in Viking tradition, something that symbolizes bravery and strength and is what given to people to symbolize that. This is what we're giving you. An axe symbolizes some bravery and strength, and that is the epitome of you. You are the bravest and strongest person that we've ever met, and we love you so much, and we're so proud of you, and we just love you for everything. And we would like to cut these and put all that.
How many times? I think I threatened him about 52 times.
Next up, Nikki's son, Evan.
I'm not, after amazing speeches, I'm not going to keep you guys long. We know we have a party after this. But on behalf of my sister and I, and now Trey and McKenna, welcome to the family. While you guys missed a lot of the hardships that were faced, I kind of envy you for that. But it made us stronger as a family, and I am proud to call my mother a hero. It's an honor to be your son.
Oh, shit. I got it. I'm on it.
At this time, I'd like to open up the floor. If anybody else.
My mom has been in the military for a long time. With that comes a lot of missed time, including birthdays, Christmases, Thanksgiving, and a lot more. I don't stand up here as a grieving daughter. I stand up here as a proud one. Sorry. My mom has done so many good things for so many people. I'm so happy that you're finally retiring. To see you. You deserve it. And I'm really proud of you.
This was Nikki's childhood. Going way back.
You're good. Hey. Oh, no, thanks. You're tired. Right? So I was honored to be the person Nikki selected to bring her to MEPS, and I'm honored to be here to see you on the other side. We've been through a lot. As a civilian, I didn't get to see all the fun stuff that all the co-workers got to see, but getting to be there to help you. BCS multiple times, but lots of stuff, dogs can't really go through household goods, so dogs can. So I got to help bring the animals with. Learned a few things along the way. From Eielson to Luke, I learned that if you mix beer, Dramamine, and melatonin, you will be asleep on a plane. It worked really well. You're welcome. Between Luke and Shaw, I learned that if you have a cat in a carrier from Arizona to Atlanta, that cat will make a mess in said carrier.
Made it to Atlanta. Just for the record.
We made it to Atlanta, and then that cat, whew, that was a mess. That was gross, let's just say. But really, in the end, I learned just how amazing you are. I mean, I've always known that, but just seeing it every day, I'm really proud of you. I'm so, so happy you get to now take time for what you want to do. Open a gym, just enjoy family time, be there. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? There we go.
I wouldn't want to do this that way. I met Bobby and Nikki and the family about a year ago. I'm the bearded master, was the bearded master for Sand Hills.
Yes, she would meet me at a bar.
These people are amazing people. Nikki, you're my sister. You're my mom. Y'all are my family. So, last 4 weeks I have been struggling, and she has come to my rescue. So, I just want to say thank you and I love you, and I'm so proud of you. So,
Fix it.
I am.
Is there any more?
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you our retired Senior Master Sergeant Allman with her closing remarks for you.
He won, I cried. You're welcome. Wow. Who can believe that I'm standing here today, especially with all my stripes still on my arm? Not me, that's for sure. First of all, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming out today to celebrate with me and my family. I'm truly honored and humbled to have all of you standing here or sitting here. I know you're all waiting in anticipation. What is she going to say? What is she going to say? But I'm just going to ask for everybody just to take a couple seconds for a moment of silence for all the people that paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to be here today. First and foremost, I'd like to start by thanking my brother-in-law, Kevin, for agreeing to be the narrator for today, and also thank you for your service. I really appreciate it. Kevin and my sister, as they said, are the two that you should all blame for having to have put up with me for the last 22 years. Don't worry, guys, the code red will be issued later. Seriously, I appreciate and I'm humbled that you agreed to do this for me today. Kevin actually convinced me to come in, and I had the honor of being the narrator at his ceremony when he exited too. So I really, really appreciate it, even though you got just lost the script on the 8th of July. I tapped improvised it over. Get it wrong, it's fine. It's the best. It's me, so Jessica didn't do it for me, so Kristen can get it. Next, Colonel Smart and his lovely wife for coming up here and presiding over this today. What do you say? I mean, you said it. To someone that literally faced everything that we worked at in Afghanistan. We went through accidents, airstrikes, almost getting blown up in a porta potty. But through it all, you've always been an amazing leader and a mentor to me. And I wouldn't have wanted anyone else standing up here today besides you. Well, maybe Colonel Kindness, but he's a legend. He wouldn't want that back. I'm just I think there's only one time I've ever really hated you, and that was the time that you forced me to go onto a helicopter ride, and I didn't want to go because I wanted to sleep in that day. And we almost got shot down. I believe my exact words to you were, I didn't even want to be here, and I swear to God, if I die, I'm haunting your entire family for the rest of their lives.
I believe I thank you for your service.
Seriously though, the Air Force, they finally got it right when they promoted you, and I am honored to serve alongside you, and even more honored that you allowed me to share the same deliberation room with you in Afghanistan, so I no longer had to use the porta potty. Lindsay, Oscar, Merrill, I know you guys were voluntold for this, and I hope it wasn't too much work for you. I know it was kind of last minute, some stuff right there, because you know I'm not prepared. But I promise I tried to do as much as I could for you guys to try to keep some of that work off of you guys. Thank you for being the rock stars of the office, and being competent-ish. And only getting me fired like 3 or 4 times. We're good. It wasn't like Sheffield and Johnson who got fired several other times on that one. Please remember how amazing you guys are. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. Because you can't help others if you aren't okay yourself. And look out for your airmen. Make sure that you and them both all know how significant they are. I miss you guys. And I'm so excited about your future in the military. Bird and Jackie, my baby bird. Oh, yeah.
Don't be still in my nickname.
You and your brothers almost killed me in Arizona, but we had fun, and I appreciate you so much for taking the time out and coming here today. Our cap, I did not know was coming. Mr. Kapoor back here behind Charles, he was baby Lieutenant Kapoor whenever I first met him at Barksdale when I first became a paralegal. He was an amazing mentor to me. He's been a friend, I call him my friend for a long time. He's held the kids when they were babies. Tyler rubbed buffalo chicken dip all over him one day, he didn't even care. So I really appreciate you coming out here and spending this with us. Katrina, from the minute you walked into my room on my deployment, I knew that I was going to love you, even though you went to the wrong room. We've spooned, we've laughed, we've cried, we've talked about our families, and we walked to work every single morning, so that was cool. I love you and thank you also for being here today. To my PATH family, my random TAP family, and now my BNI family, I'm so thankful to have found each and every one of you. Please know that I'm always just a phone call away, and you guys can always reach out. Whew. Okay, I've done pretty good, right? I'm gonna warn y'all, Warrior Path ruined me. So those of you that were taking bets again on me crying just now, I used to be a stone cold, bitter, angry person, and now I'm a hugging animal and shit and stuff. Thanks, Warrior Path. Tracy. Sorry, I said it loud. We've been through some stuff. I've already mentioned to you earlier that she was one of the reasons that I joined the military. But I've always looked up to you both as a sister and a role model. You served in a time that wasn't glamorous for women to serve. And you also basically had to take on a mother role for me. Please know how much I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I love you. Leah. Oh yeah. It's time for all you guys to get it back. You weren't just my friend, you're my sister. You and your family have always been there when I needed you. For being in the delivery room when the kids were born. To flying to Alaska, to fly with me to Arizona with 2 dogs, 2 kids, and all my stuff. To driving cross country with me. You've always been by my side. You're basically my husband, my military husband. You've been with me longer than all my marriages. It's funny because it's true. Please know how much I love you. give her a big round of applause because to her, you guys are going to eat tonight. She's the one that bought the food short before it's all said. You're welcome for that later. Jason, Jess, Charles, Staggers, you four, and occasionally Ed. Hardly ever because he never shows up for anything. You guys are my ride or dies. I know that I would not be here today without you, mostly Jess, because we know she's really the only one of us that knows what the hell she's been doing for the last 20 years. And me and Jason just rode your coattails the whole way. I love you guys so much, and know that I would not be even close where I am today without you. Thank you for coming, and even if it was because I promised y'all free food and alcohol. Bribery works. Babe, third time's a charm, right? Well, you're second, so your third time's not a charm. You're second, fine, whatever. My little dependo. I know you haven't had to deal with the military career as much as most people have. You've kind of been there, but you have been there for some of my roughest times. Many people will never know the sacrifices that family make when there's somebody in their family chooses either the military or civil service. We sacrifice our family, our body, and our mental health. We've had a rough year, to say the least, but we've been through it. We stuck by each other's side, and I'm so thankful for your patience with me and your love. I cannot wait to start the new chapter of life with you by my side. You already got your present, because there's no way in hell I'm bringing a bow out here around all these people, because I know all their drunk asses are going to get somebody shot. I know all of you too well. Trey McKenna. Please know how thankful I am that you guys are my bonus kids. You are both so amazing. Well, at least McKenna is. Trey, you're good because you want to join the army. Since you want to join the army, that kind of knocks you down a couple pegs. I'm still working on it, Colonel.
Good luck.
I'm so thankful for your sense of humor, and and how you guys have accepted me into your guys' lives. Thank you for allowing me to watch you grow into the remarkable kids that you are and the adults you will become. I have a small gift for each of you. McKenna, this is from my uniforms that I have, and Nana made it for you. Trey, this one I bought for you because, it's your thing. Blah, 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 but here's a blanket for you. He pained me.
Nice.
For those of you that know, Troy wants to be an Army Ranger, and so I got him a quilt for your Army Ranger. Hate your face. Okay. Whew. This one's rough. People often think they understand the effects of military life has on families. But you too, I hope, felt that, not with me, but also with your father. I have missed so much of your guys' lives, and for that I'm truly sorry. I know we've had a rough few years, because I've missed so much. But I promise I'm going to do everything I can to make up for those lost times, and build our relationship stronger than ever. I am so proud of both of you. And how far you guys have come between switching schools over and over, to being by my side on my deployments. I know it hasn't been easy for you, but I love you both so much. You are my world. And I would do anything for you. The gifts I have for you two are a little bit different. So throughout my time in the military, every time I go away, I've been collecting t-shirts. And Nana made these blankets for you. Tyler, this one's yours. Oh. So it has my rank on it, and then it has different places that I've been in different portions of the country. country. Dad. Same thing. It has all the rings. And then the cool thing is, these are all from my uniform, so it has pockets. That's a love pocket.
Signal when you
I like the Ranger one the best.
I could literally go around this room today and thank each and every one of you individually, and trust me, tonight I will make sure I do that at the party and stuff, and tell you guys how important you are to me. So with all of those thank yous out of the way, I thought long and hard about the message that I want to convey as my parting thought. The thing I kept coming back to was mental health and suicide awareness. We ask so much of our military and first responders, but when they reach out for help, all too often we either medicate them or push them aside. Everyone wants to pretend everything is okay and that you are just fine, or opposite that you're a problem child because suddenly you have issues. I can tell you on a personal note that after several combat deployments, I've seen and been through some messed up shit. But I kept it in, and I didn't want to talk about it because I was fine and other people needed help more than me. I have faced significant trauma throughout my life, and I've seen amazing people sacrifice theirs. Everything piled on and affected my relationship with my family and my friends. I have always been a strong one for everyone else, until I wasn't. I did everything I was supposed to do. I sought help, I addressed my issues, and I was told I was seeing fine. For months I was screaming on the inside, but I felt no one to turn to, and it affected my relationship with my husband, my family, and my coworkers. I was spiraling to a point where I thought maybe things would be better off without me. However, my life changed when I met Sutton Shaw. She could tell right away that I was facing some demons and recommended that I go through the Warrior Path program. I didn't want to go. Bobby dropped me off, took my car, so I couldn't leave. Yeah. But it saved my life and saved our marriage. And for that I'm thankful. I'm telling you all this to bring awareness to the issue. We as leaders need to focus on our people and their wellness mentally and physically. You as leaders and supervisors need to care and get involved when you're going to start exhibiting signs, such as they go from being a ghost in the office to doing things wrong. Don't make your airmen prove to you that there is something wrong with them, but make sure you are there for them whenever they need. Mean it and listen to what they have to say. And ask them what they need from you. Do not make them feel like a burden because they aren't. But airmen, it's up to you too. It's up for you to identify when you're not okay. Take care of yourself because you cannot help others if your cup is empty. If you are giving everything to everyone else and not helping yourself, you're going to wind up in the same place that I was. Please know that even though I'm retiring, I'm always a phone call away, or text message, whatever. I'm sorry that I'm having to step away because I want so much to be your voice. But my cup is empty. And it's time for me to fill that back up and take care of myself and my family. I've given all I can to the military, and it's time for me to step away and trust that all of you learned enough from me and my brothers and sisters to help you guys be successful. Hey, I'm almost done, I promise.
Okay, come on.
I always like to end my speeches with the saying, and this is something that was meaningful to me. So this is the last thing I'm going to leave you with. Please remember that you're all warriors. We are all fighting different battles. You're not warriors because you will always win that fight. You are all warriors because you will continue to fight. So keep fighting, and I'll be right beside you. Thank you again for coming, and it was an honor to serve alongside all of you.
Thank you. Bobby will now present a letter from Nikki's mother-in-law. Cheryl and Bob wanted to be here. They were unable to. They're here in spirit. Bobby?
So, I don't know if Nikki was digging through my text messages again, or whether or not she truly meant this, but we didn't open up their gifts until last night. It actually took them out of the sealed bag as they got shipped to us. And Nikki said, God, these are so great, I wish I had them. Well,
A Ranger quilt.
it is a summer blanket with
You've always wanted one.
all of your ranks.
You got a pocket too.
You're done. With that comes a letter.
She writes letters.
That's all poems.
So, I gotta try and get through this. I've read it a couple times.
See Valentine.
A couple of years ago, Nikki asked me, a year ago, Nikki asked me, her new mother-in-law, to make a blanket quilt for her children, Evan and Tyler, to be given at a retirement ceremony. She entrusted me with the military uniforms and t-shirts collected from places she was stationed, and in many cases, the places her family came to call home so often. I spent the year deconstructing a very well-made Air Force garb she wore daily in all conditions, sporting many ranks. I also collected fabric that equaled the integrity and resilience of those uniforms and the soldiers that proudly wore them. I hope the results reflect the measure of patriotism and endurance this family harnessed and sheltered that we've grown so fond. With love, gratitude, and honor, Nana and Papa.
Ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up today's ceremony on the behalf of Senior Master Sergeant, retired. I do want to thank each and every one of you for participating in today's ceremony. Small story, Ronald Reagan was talking to a Cuban exile. There's a couple businessmen. He talks about a story, and there was a Cuban guy that came over and told about all the horrific living conditions of living in Cuba, and he's talking to two Americans. And the two Americans, after hearing all the horror stories, said, "We are sure lucky, aren't we? I mean, we're so lucky to be where we're at." And the Cuban looked at both those men and said, "You're lucky. I'm lucky because I had a place to escape to. You are America. Thank you. No one's greater They come here because you make that happen. Thank you. We have cake. We have a small reception afterwards, cake, but please rise for the playing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.